I was born December 30th, 1952 in Texarkana, Arkansas. Moved to Dallas in 1962, I believe. I had my first drink when I was my first drink when I was 6 years old. My grandfather, who was an alcoholic, always kept inside. He always wore a suit. He always had a pint of Yellowstone bourbon. Always had a pint of it inside his coat. And when I was 6, I remember one time he gave me a hit off the bottle, just to see what I would do. And I remember how much it burned. I didn't cough it up, I didn't gag, I didn't anything, but it burned all the way down. It hit my stomach and just gave me this warm, cozy feeling inside, you know. And I liked it from my very first drink, which was at 6 years old. And there were several times after that and continuous that my grandfather would give me alcohol. And I didn't begin drinking on a regular basis until I was like 16. And then I became a regular drinker. I always drank to get drunk. I never social drank. And from the time I took the first drink, I had to get drunk. Or as I used to say, when I drank, I broke out into drunk every single time. But on November 14th, 1987, in a small beer joint in Texarkana, is when I knew I was an alcoholic. When I admitted to myself I was an alcoholic. I went there because the bartender gave me free drinks, and I had no income, so, she had just given me a free drink, and Jack Berry, who was the gentleman who was friends with my grandfather, had ordered a drink, and he got his. And she asked him for $2.50, however much it was. He was drunk. He stood up, knocked his chair over, and he hollered and pointed at me. And he said, because that sorry son of a bitch right there never has to pay for a drink, why should I have to pay for one? And it was a small bar. I knew everybody in there. Everybody knew me. And the entire bar stopped. Everything got quiet, and everybody looked at me. And for a split second, my soul opened up, and God spoke to me. He said 2 words. He said, it's time. It's time. It's time to grow up. It's time to quit drinking. It's time to get a job. It's time to get your family back. It's time. And I used my sobriety date as November 15th, 1987, because that's the day I walked into Alcoholics Anonymous. Because I think I would have went back to drinking more than likely if it hadn't been for Alcoholics Anonymous, because they brought me back to God. I know in my heart that I would still be drinking today if God hadn't stopped and spoke those 2 words to me. And that's why I quit, because God intervened in my life.